Hi, my name is Jessica Resler, and I'm an experiential and immersive creative director. So what that means is that I constantly have to explain to people's moms what I actually do. But the best way for me to describe my job is that my living is predicated on coming up with new ideas in design and marketing that have never been done before. My passion is in showing people how to look at something new through the lens of time and space and experience design. And often, when I'm super lucky, I get to help work out larger issues like this one. The music economy has completely shifted, leaving musicians in a place where they have to figure out how to become their own art directors, sustain life on tour, and function as though they're mini startups. Advertisers. These guys are only marketing to about half the country or less right now because they are fixated on the major markets. This doesn't even necessarily make sense anymore in the digital world that we're living in. Thriving towns need arts and culture, design, movements, cool people, cool things, all of this stuff to continue to sustain and grow. So, we invented Outpost, and it's never been done before, and it addresses all of these things in one simple concept. Outpost is a sophisticated rest stop for musicians on tour. Think about it like the 7-Eleven meets the Soho House in emerging towns all throughout the US. At Outpost, we invite artists to come into our brand-supported store and take absolutely whatever they want for free. We seriously tell them to go crazy, and at times we're like, just act like you're looting us, get wild in there. So you might ask yourself, why is that important to this project? Well, because we're creating an experience. And the experience of being treated like a boss is awesome and motivating. So we thought a lot about what Outposts needed to have to support musician-related creativity. So inside of each space, artists can practice, lay down tracks, relax, hang out with awesome musicians and humans, and also produce content. We've spoken with tons of musicians, and what we've really learned is that their life on tour is super fun, but also really tough. Because in their words, there is certain shit you just cannot do in a van or tour bus. One of the things we often hear is feel like a human, so that's extreme. And the other one is laundry. Outpost helps to thank passionate people for doing passionate things. We are asking artists to take so that they can give, because those that have been considered are the ones that give back. We're asking the most creative people to be part of the conversation between thriving towns and growing brands. And we've committed ourselves to only working with the type of brands that support progress, community, and wellness. There are businesses that focus on profit, and there are businesses that focus on profit, people, and purpose. And we want to align ourselves with those type of brands, not just because we're being altruistic, but people vote with their dollars. And we want to be a part of a culture that is creating meaningful influence, especially because brands are some of the only philanthropists left for musicians today. But it's important that they understand the power and the responsibility of what that means. What it doesn't mean is forcing binds and forcing obligations. What it does mean is coming up with reasons to speak about one another favorably. And the same goes for our presence inside of each Outpost city. This is our Outpost in El Paso, Texas. An Outpost has been designed to be about placemaking, so that we are part of a city and not tone-deaf out-of-towners. We are taking our responsibility of coming into a town and trying to develop a growing movement seriously. So, how are we doing? Since we've opened Outpost in May, we've had 189 artists come through our locations. We've saved them $163,000 on touring supplies and amenities. And they have shared their experience with 2.7 million fans. And we're scaling. By the end of this year, we are hoping to have 800 artists through our spots. And next year, we're gearing up to have 3,000 artists and growing. The benefit to the brands that we're working with is not only that we are connecting them to the most awesomely talented content developers in the entire world, but the authenticity of meeting those people at the most passionate point in their career. We're hitting artists at their upswing, and we're introducing them to brands when it matters most, when they really need it. Through this model, we are proving that the side of the road is as good as the end. Emerging towns have the power to create the next Sunset Strip in 1969, or the next St. Barks in the Bowery in the 1980s. This kind of thing is not going to happen again in an LA or New York City, because those cities have the types of trajectories that have priced out experimental creativity. I live in New York City, and I often refer to it as living inside of the museum of New York City. You can tell the kind of culture that we used to have, but what you're gonna find is a lot more buffed out graffiti and a lot less artist lofts than there used to be. So we are banking on the people that are making culture inside of an El Paso, Texas, or in Asbury Park, New Jersey, or in Asheville, North Carolina, to deliver to the world the next Jim Morrison or Patti Smith. And as we open outposts across the nation, our goal is to create a sisterhood effect amongst cities. If our teams at Outposts can provide a connectivity and provide familiarity through our string of resources and locations, then we can make those distances and differences smaller each day. We want to be part of a measurable effect in creating hubs that produce progressive thinking. We are creating a fan club for the futuristic because progress is the result of creativity. Thank you.